When I recall Uncharted 4 in my deepest thoughts, three things catch the eye. First, of course, the unparalleled visual presentation, followed by its smooth and sleek gameplay, and finally, just the generational jump it made in comparison to its predecessor. I played and platinumed Uncharted 4 back in 2017, and then again with the Legacy of Thieves collection in 2022. But this is the first time I'm playing the franchise chronologically, and just witnessing the natural jump it made from Uncharted 3 is staggering. This is a completely different game in comparison to the prior games, and that is readily apparent from the very first minute. So the game starts with medias res, and I had to Google that, by the way. It is a Latin term for a technique used in fiction, translated as in the middle of things, where we control Nate toward an island in a boat in the companionship of his brother Sam. And immediately, a plethora of improvements catches you off guard. The face of Nathan Drake, the weather effects, the lighting, the material quality. It is so real and impressive. Our boat then breaks in the middle of the beach, and this is where we get our first taste of this game's gunplay. And it is incredible. This was a much needed improvement because gunplays were never very good in this franchise, but here it is smooth, reactive, and buttery with beautifully rendered animations to both the ragdolls and the protagonist. We will talk more about the gunplay of this game as we go on. Then our boat was scuttled and the game switches to a flashback scene of a young Nathan Drake in an orphanage. What stood out to me in this scene is just how tonally different the storytelling and performances of the characters are. Uncharted is very lighthearted and witty in nature, but here it is somber and subtle in its delivery. That extends to the lighting as well. As we scale and climb the moonlit environments in and around the orphanage on our way to meet up with Sam, it's so deliberate. And if you didn't notice just how insane this looks, my goodness, if this game came out today, it would be the best looking game out. How the dead leaves just fly about as you move, the textures in the building, everything feels perfectly curated and cherry picked in place. It's so impressive that you will have a hard time believing that this is 9 years old. Nate then meets up with his brother Sam and he teaches us one of the new additions to the game, and that is the grappling hook, which feels great to use, and with the state-of-the-art animations on display, it is intoxicating to use whenever the chance arrives. Sam then tells Nate that he's leaving town for a job that could keep him away for years, which angers Nate but was immediately cheered up by saying that Sam has the location to their late mother's effects.
You ready for this?
Hell yeah.
The game switches again to another flashback that took place before Drake's fortune, this time in a Panamanian jail where Nate, Sam, and Rafe have sneaked in thanks to a corrupt warden called Vargas. They're after the trail of infamous pirate Henry Avery, who pulled off the largest heist in the history back in the 1600s and plundered around $400 million. Vargas facilitates a trip to a 300-year-old prison after a quarrel with Nate as he wants a cut of the $400 million.
I want in.
What follows is a pretty long climbing sequence as we make our way towards Bond's tower cell. And just like everything in this game, the climbing has made a great leap forward. It is so much more fun to climb around and platform as the animations are so polished and smooth. Same applies to the grappling hook, which allows for new dimensions and possibilities in our exploration, which we will talk more about as the story moves forward. Not to mention the lighting, man. You're gonna hear me gush about this game's lighting 500 more times in this video, because it's so beautiful, both indoors and outdoors. It is also important to note how smartly this game introduces its mechanics by infusing the tutorials within the storytelling. Very rare to see even in games that come out in 2025. We make our way inside the tower cell and find a crucifix and head back to Vargas and lie, stating that it was picked empty. We meet up with Sam and Rafe again and realize that the man in the crucifix is Saint Dismas, and their next location in the trail is Scotland. Eventually, the trio gets attacked by Gustavo, who we beat up at the beginning of this chapter, and that results in our first taste of this game's melee combat, and it is a downgrade overall. The fact that you can't dodge enemy attacks similar to Uncharted 3 is kinda disappointing, making you feel very powerful during hand-to-hand combat. But I love the camera work and how it facilitates this really hard punches and it's good to see that they kept environmental takedowns. Vargas then intervenes in our fistfight, and he finds out that Nate has lied about the crucifix, eventually taking us to his office. This particular scene, in my opinion, sets the tone of this game's story, as we saw one of the most brutal deaths ever in this franchise, as Rafe stabs Vargas, resulting from an argument about sharing Avery's wealth 4-way.
And if you ever cross me
The guards were alerted and the trio had to flee this prison, but sadly, one of them couldn't, as Sam was shot, seemingly dead.
Sam, no. No, you hold on! Hold on! Sam! Give me your other arm! Come on, reach! No! Sam!
Nate burst out into tears as they escaped, and in the span of 5 minutes, the game established the dark, somber, and personal narrative that awaits us. Then the game finally switches to present time, which takes place 3 years after Uncharted 3, as Nate has retired from this life of treasure hunting and now working for a salvage company and enjoying a normal everyday life with his wife Elena. He is absent and misses the life of adventure. This was one of my favorite chapters in the franchise, as it starts with exploring Nate's attic, where we go through the souvenirs that Nate has collected over the years, like the Spanish doubloon we found in the first game, the picture of Tenzin and Nate from Uncharted 2, or the cipher disc from the third game. I felt a little chill going through this. Then we meet up with Elena downstairs, who for some reason looks different in every game. We witness this cute and intimate moment between them.
Oh, wow. Okay, cowboy.
As they play Crash Bandicoot together and eventually kiss. This was such an important scene in the game, in my opinion, because I felt Nate and Elena's relationship has always been overlooked and undercooked in the franchise. It is shown as this on and off again complicated relationship, but this particular scene establishes a very special bond between them that will question our actions as the story progresses further. In the next scene, we see Nate working late hours and eventually someone knocks at the door. Nate opens it and there he is, Sam, alive and well.
Sam?
It's good to see you again, Nathan.
God, Sam.
Oh, all right. Take it easy.
My 2 cents on Sam is that I find it weird that Nate out of nowhere has a brother who he never mentioned in any of the prior games. By the way, look at the visual presentation here, man. The lip sync, the facial animation, how the eyes of these characters just draws you in, immerses you. Naughty Dog magic at work here. They have the best cutscenes hands down. The 2 brothers talk through the night, where we see another addition to the game, and that is dialogue choices. As Sam asks which was our best adventure in the franchise so far, I chose Uncharted 3. What is your choice, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Then Sam opens up about what's happening with him, and we play through another flashback sequence in the prison, this time as Sam. I don't want to touch on this flashback much. The heart of the matter is, Sam was broken out of prison by his cellmate Hector Alcazar on the condition that he will find Henry Avery's treasure within 3 months or suffer death.
3 months.
3 months is...
3 months. Half the treasure. Can you do it? Say it.
3 months, half the treasure.
And he needs Nate's help in finding it. Nate was reluctant to accept, but later does to save his brother and lies to Elena, saying that he's taking the Malaysia job. I love this. I have explained it in my Uncharted 3 retrospective. I just prefer this personal angle to the storytelling. I find it more immersive. Up until this point in the story, what surprised me is just how slow of a start it is. I'm not complaining. I think the storytelling is impeccable so far. But in comparison to the prior games, this is something that stood out to me. We are 2 hours into the game, with very little action and no set pieces at all. Something that is consistently present in the prior games. Our next stop is Rossi Estate, Italy, where according to Sam, a crucifix similar to the one found in Panama is up for auction. And we team up with everybody's favorite character and Nate's mentor, Victor Sullivan.
Know what I love about partying with a bunch of crooks?
What's that?
Nobody cares if you smoke indoors.
It's been a while.
Too long, boyo.
I love the dynamism and character interactions that unfold here, as Sam can't seem to trust Sully, but Nate constantly assures him that he is very loyal.
Trust.
I also love how Sam and Nate both poke at each other and how competitive they are during this exploration sequence.
Hey, you think you can rope it?
Do I think I can rope it? Watch this.
I'm watching.
I missed. Here we go.
First try.
All right, no one likes a show-off.
Rossi Estate as well. I love how dramatically this whole sequence is choreographed. It's like having control of a spy movie. It starts with Nate stealing a keycard from the waiters, then going after the power room to steal the crucifix when lights out. It is so cool. As you climb your way to the power room, Sam dresses as a waiter to steal it when the moment arrives, and Sully, being the coordinator, manages everything through the earpiece. It's beautifully done. This chapter also introduces the two villains that we are going against. One is a paramilitary South African named Nadine Ross, the head of a mercenary group called Shoreline.
Hi, Victor.
Hello, Nadine.
Another one we already know, and that is Rafe, who is after the crucifix as well.
Victor Sullivan. How the hell are you?
Similar to Marlowe, I like when the villains are personally intertwined with the main protagonists, and the same applies here, of course. As for Nadine, she's more in the role of someone like Harry Flynn and Talbot. They're basically in the supporting role of the main villain. But I think in comparison to the aforementioned supporting villains, Nadine is a strong addition. So our hard work so far comes together as Nate cuts the power and Sam lifts the crucifix in the dark.
The backup power will come on shortly.
It's gone!
What follows is we sneak through the estate's stunning courtyards and rooftops as the guards are at high alert. This shows us Naughty Dog's upgraded stealth system, as now you can tackle entire encounters using stealth or just flee without killing anyone. And the smart level design facilitates that. Unlike the prior games, you can go to your destination multiple different ways, but it's so well curated that it all ends where the game wants you to go. We find a way to sneak inside the auction building and we face Nadine head to head.
You're not supposed to be back here.
Well, neither are you. But I'll tell you what, I won't tell anyone if you don't.
You have something I want, and you're going to give it to me.
Where we were completely battered and thrown outside the window. We climb and scale through this locale, take down many guards in the process, and flee the estate thanks to Sully's getaway. Then we see the trio breaking open the crucifix that consists of Henry Avery's birth and death year, which points to Henry Avery's grave in Scotland.
Guys, we're going to Scotland.
Here we see Sully in the shell of a protective father for Nate, and he's here to keep an eye on Nate, and that creates this conflict between Sully and Sam.
Okay, he's meant for this life.
You really believe that?
Why are you here, Victor?
Because somebody's got to keep an eye out for him.
So we make our way to Scotland, which is this pleasing snow-covered locale with dusky brown foliages everywhere and incredible vistas. Uncharted 4, of course, is a very focused and linear game by design, but this location feels more open than it actually is. One thing I want to point out here is just how good it feels to move Nathan Drake around. I talked about this in my Last of Us Part 2 retrospective as well. Just how good it feels to maneuver the characters around in Naughty Dog games. It's buttery smooth. It just feels great to play. For the most part, this particular chapter is very light on narrative and more focused on enemy encounters, stealth, a lot of climbing and platforming, a lot of sliding, a lot of grappling, and sometimes a mixture of them all.
Stuck the landing!
It's free-flowing, it's so satisfying to play. People might say I am overestimating, but this is for me one of the best gameplays in any game. For a game that strives to be realistic, the gameplay is kinda arcadey, but it works wonders. After making it through some tests, they come across a scale-equipped room with a collection of copper coins on one side and another cross on the other. Sam is forced to take one of the coins rather than the cross by Nate, who recognizes the deception as being motivated by greed.
Just one now.
Great. I got it. Please don't be a trap.
This causes a light map to illuminate, and our next stop is Madagascar. The Scotland chapter ends with an insane set piece where Sam deceives Nadine into setting off the Scales trap. This results in the chamber to collapse and the duo flees with Sully's beautiful seaplane. As we prepare to go to Madagascar, Nate receives a phone call from Elena where he lies again. And it is these personal conflicts, these attachments that are dragging these characters from behind that makes this story so incredible. It shows a matured storytelling from Naughty Dog, something they have taken from The Last of Us that was released in between Uncharted 4 and Uncharted 3.
I love you.
Love you too.
So we make our way to Kings Bay, Madagascar, and it is strikingly beautiful. The lighting here again, the reddish soil, the mud, the vistas, and look at this cutscene. How is this game 9 years old? There are only a handful of games that can match the visual presentation and the performances that this game pulled in 2016. This particular chapter is Naughty Dog's first foray into this semi-open-ended section that allows you some freedom off the beaten track. That freedom is allowed by letting you drive a car in the Uncharted series for the very first time, and it feels amazing.
Slow. Keep it in the center. Yeah, there's a lot of backseat driving going on.
In terms of things to do, there isn't much here. There's a few more enemy encounters to tackle, towers to climb for sightseeing, a lot of collectibles such as treasures to find, and rock cairns to knock over. I had fun here, but I really want more. I want Naughty Dog to make an open world Uncharted game. In one of the encounters in this chapter, I started taking down some enemies, then made my way to the top of a tower and sniped down the remaining ones. It felt so good, and I want to do more of this in Uncharted. This is another chapter that I feel is very gameplay heavy, but I never felt disconnected from the story. The writers have done a tremendous job in this regard. On our way to one of the towers, we come across this muddy hill with a boulder in the middle. It is another short yet cool set-piece moment in the game as the trio fall off the hill whilst winched to a tree. I could have left this out of the video, but it caught me so off guard back in 2016, and it felt worth mentioning.
I got you! Hold on tight, kid! I got you!
We then get inside and learn that Henry Avery, Thomas Tew, and 10 other pirates pulled their treasures together into one massive hoard, and the next clue exists in one of the 12 towers, which was later narrowed down into 2 thanks to another marking on the other side of the coin.
2 beats the hell out of 12.
Hence, Nate and Sully go to one, Sam goes to the other. And these cutscenes, man, the way it's directed, how the trio breaks and narrows everything down to the minute details, I'm immersed and glued to the screen. This is fantastic storytelling, best in class even 9 years later. The tower which Nate and Sully go to is in the middle of the city, filled with civilization, a complete opposite of the countryside that we explored in the past hour. It is so lively and beautifully realized, with tourists enjoying the local cuisine as we squeezed past them while petting this cute lemur on the way.
Sully, come on, it's a lemur. Come on, come say hi.
That's all right.
So cute.
Do what?
Whoa! Hey, Sully! Look who's back.
We sneak inside the tower and then scale and climb our way to the top of it as part of a test that opens up a hidden interest. Next test is a very cool and well thought out puzzle in the game that points to our next location.
Voila.
We tried to contact Sam, who is being followed by Rafe because the trio's phones are being tracked through GPS. We then leave the tower to save Sam, and what follows is the best set piece in the game in my opinion, and easily one of the best in the franchise. It starts with a gunfight against the shoreline mercenary in the local bazaar, to being chased by an armored truck in our jeep as we completely massacre this whole city.
Where the hell are you going?
You're the one who said just head down!
Gee, coming through! Oh, this was really a great idea, Nate.
Do you want to drive?
Oh, you're doing just fine.
We probably destroyed this country's economy in just 10 minutes. Nate then grapples to one of Shoreline's convoy as we run out of roads to drive, and again, this insanity of a set piece continues as we jump from convoys to convoys, jeep to jeep, shooting down shoreline armies. These convoy set pieces are very familiar in Uncharted series, but the jump in graphical fidelity and production value, not to mention the buttery smooth gameplay, makes it a blast to play through. After this, we saved Sam as we escaped being chased by the armored truck again, as we finally took it down.
Hang on, Nathan!
The trio make their way back to their hotel, and surprise, Elena is here.
How's the Malaysia job going, Nate? Seems like you're a hair off course.
This again emotionally questions our hunt for Avery's treasure, Nate's action of lying to Elena coming back to haunt him. This rightfully angers Elena, and that erupts further as Elena finds out about Sam, whom she never heard of. Elena lives in anger, and we had a small fight with Sully, which in the process dampens my excitement to hunt for this treasure. But we still have to do it to save our brother Sam.
Need a hand? I got it. Let's go pack your bags.
Hence, we set out for Libertalia. On our way to find Libertalia, we explored these stunning remote islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean in broad daylight. This particular locale really made me appreciate the diversity of locations we have explored so far. The game lets you drive a boat around these small islands, and as I mentioned before, these locations are so smartly designed that it feels way larger than they actually are, something we didn't see from Naughty Dog up until this point. After some extensive climbing, scaling, and exploring of this island, we were pointed toward the correct one.
It's gotta be it. Libertalia.
Eventually, Nadine's army shows up, and we realize this is the medias res from the very beginning of the game. Nate washes up on the shore of the island, and Sam is missing. In search of Sam, we climbed and scaled these weight platforms due to heavy rainstorm, and you actually feel that during gameplay. You have to deliberately scale point to point because it's slippery. And again, it looks so beautiful. The vistas that are always in the background, just screaming for your attention. And the camera facilitates that and tells you how pretty this is. They have made something so breathtaking that they themselves are proud of it. We had to go through multiple encounters in search of Sam. My 2 cents on the combat encounters is that I love how the game promotes you to move around the level they have designed. You can't just sit duck somewhere to take everyone out. You have to take advantage of all the possible gameplay mechanics and mix and match them to really appreciate just how cool and cinematic it is. It is really that attention to details to everything that makes it so pleasant to play. After several encounters and other acrobatic actions through these islands, we stumble upon Sam. The story gets better and better as it progresses, and it has reached its peak for me and completely hooked me when I first visited Libertalia.
What do you see?
You just want to hear me say it, don't you?
Really want to hear you say it.
All right. Libertalia.
Libertalia!
Back in 2017, when I first played this game, it was Libertalia that made me say, this game is a work of art. So Libertalia is this pirate colony, and it is so fantastically realized. I couldn't believe it. Just going through these pirate-made structures, buildings, their furniture, utensils all over the place, it feels so lived in. You could sense the depth of its civilization and nature taking its course. The Last of Us inspiration is all over the place here. And what is the icing on the cake here is the backstory behind this mess. Nate and Sam find clues of a civil war between the founders and the colonists, after the founders kept all the gold for themselves. Then after some unhuman-like climbing sequence and encounters, we start our journey toward the treasury building. And I say unhuman-like climbing because I just hate how premeditated the climbing feels in this particular locale. This was always an issue with the series, but here it feels so much more maximized. This is something I hope they fix whenever they make another Uncharted game. We then reached the treasury building, and again, just the environmental storytelling. You could just feel from your bedroom that you're entering a battlefield. The destruction on display, the armories, the human skulls, just perfectly set dressed. So impressively realized. Naughty Dog are the kings of this stuff. Here we learned that the founders have moved the gold to the other side of the island.
I know where they moved it.
What? Where?
In a walled enclave referred to as New Devon. We also got to look at New Devon from the top of this tower. Just look at this vista here. Magnificent. On our way there, we stumble upon our worst nightmare, also referred to as Nadine Ross. As she batters us for the second time and reaches a point where Rafe corners us.
Almost there, Sam.
Nadine!
This is of course the first confrontation between Nate and Rafe as competitors of the treasure, and it didn't disappoint, as we learned that Sam has been lying to us. There's no Hector Alcazar, it was Rafe that released Sam from jail.
He spent the last 2 years tracking down a second St. Dismas cross. You know what? He did it all with me.
Oh,
yeah?
oh, that's bullshit.
Presumably, Nate was shocked by the deceit and started to question what he had done. He left his normal life and the person he loves to serve his brother's deception. I felt for Nate here, more than I ever did in the whole franchise. Rafe was about to shoot Nate, deeming him no longer needed. Sam intervenes, takes the bullet, and Nate falls off the cliff.
I just need Sam.
Wait, now you're making a mistake.
Don't
The game then takes us back to another continuation of a flashback that was shown at the beginning of the game. Young Nate and Sam sneaks into Evelyn's mansion where purportedly their late mother's effects reside. This continuation of the flashback is so perfectly placed because at this point in the story, we are supposed to be hating Sam. But this endearing brotherly throwback completely softens the blow. This chapter explores the relationship between Sam and Nate and the hardships that these two have gone through all their life. Naughty Dog is so good at nailing these smaller moments in games. It's such simple things from a gameplay standpoint, but from a narrative perspective, it is so powerful. Upon finding their mother's diary, they were immediately caught by a lady who, after knowing the Drake brothers' identity, mentioned that their mother Cassandra Morgan was a brilliant historian that specialized in Henry Avery. The police showed up and immediately the lady died of illness and they had to flee the mansion. The two changed their names in honor of their mother's belief on Drake's descendants and ran away with her journal. From that point until Sam's alleged death, they remained together. Even though I still feel Sam's inclusion is weird as he was never mentioned in the earlier games, they try to cover that by saying that his past is very tough for him to discuss. Nonetheless, I still have to appreciate the character development of these two characters. It's very well crafted as is.
I always felt that we were destined for something great. But until tonight, I didn't know what that meant.
The game then switches to present time where Elena saves us again with the help of Sully. It was great to team up with Elena again. As I said in my past video, for me, the true essence of Uncharted is Nate, Sully, and Elena. What I like about this chapter is the relationship between Nate and Elena, how they're somewhat distant to one another, and we're anticipating that conversation that mitigates the issues between them.
You know us.
It was interesting to see Nate's response to these conflicting emotions, one being Sam's deception and other being Elena's loyalty. What follows is a very gameplay-heavy next few hours as we try to make our way to New Devon to save Sam from the hands of Rafe. Nate also added that he has lost interest in finding the treasure after finding the truth. We explore these muddy and flooded environments with waterfalls everywhere. There are multiple encounters, navigating puzzles. This is again another very open setting as it allows you to drive a car through these flooded environments. And every time this game allows me to drive a car, I feel delighted.
Watch this. Hang on!
We did it!
After a while, we drive towards a bridge which breaks in the middle, and that generates another one of those short set-piece moments as we survive by the skin of our teeth.
Waterfall! Waterfall!
Nate!
Okay! I'm okay!
The game again teases us with that conversation between Nate and Elena, but it still didn't reach the mitigation point.
I didn't tell you because I was afraid
Afraid of what?
of losing you. I guess I was protecting myself. You know?
We have a lot of ground to cover.
However, we lost our car and had to cover ground on foot, and we finally reached New Devon.
Oh my God.
And again, just the environmental storytelling that it does by sprinkling and set dressing the aftermaths of all the 12 pirate captains and how they turned on each other. It is these nuances that the franchise has improved on little by little, and here it took a generational jump, just like every little aspect of it. And what reinforces this point is this cutscene in Thomas II's residence. You discover the corpses of all the founders other than Henry Avery and Thomas II, who seems to have poisoned their food in the dining table, hence keeping all the treasures for themselves.
Avery makes a grand toast. For God and liberty! Arg, ahoy, mateys, all that. And they all take a swig. Except these two. And just like that, all the treasure of Libertalia becomes the sole possession of two men.
How Nate breaks down everything that has gone down here is a work of art. It is a masterpiece in not only video game storytelling, also performances and direction. How Elena just gets lost in Nate's intoxication towards this life of being an adventurer. I have never seen anything like this. It is one of my favorite ever moments in any video game. Next, we enter Henry Avery's house and eventually enter its hidden catacombs, where Sam is taken as well. The catacomb is horrifying, dark, and claustrophobic, and I did not mention that it is a death trap, as it is completely rigged with mummy explosives. I had headphones on while playing this game, and my ears were ringing playing through this. I thought they were gonna pull another supernatural crap that they do in this series. Gladly, this time they didn't, and kept this completely grounded. That alone elevates this story for me, even if I overlook everything else.
Lena? Hey! Hey! Lena, come on! Lena!
My hero.
Oh, no, you didn't do that. No! That's not funny!
Oh, you have done much work.
We finally make our way out of it, and finally Nate and Elena fully reconcile and reach a point of true understanding to fix their relationship. And I'm happy to say this game finally did the relationship of Nate and Elena justice.
Holy crap.
After getting out of the hellhole that was the catacombs, we made our way to the ship graveyard where Sam is being shot at. This is another impressive level design where we kill around 100 shoreline soldiers at the minimum. It is so action-packed, bombastic, and I forgot to mention this. I really appreciate the weapons in this game and how improved they are.
Stay put! We're coming to you!
After all these actions, we meet up with Sam and then get attacked by another armored car. Another impressive set piece follows as we run towards the camera, something we have seen in this series from the very beginning.
Just hide up here. Can't get me up here, right?
It reached a point where we were cornered and Sully, like a hero, saves us as we take it down together. When I played the game back in 2016, I thought this is a good ending point in the story, as Sam was convinced by Nate to not go after the treasure anymore, and let go of the grid and the obsession that runs in their family. Sam seemingly accepts, but just can't let go of the obsession as he goes after it, leaving the trio behind.
No, don't you even think about it, you hear me?
I'm sorry I got you into this. All of you.
Hey, all that doesn't matter anymore, okay? Just jump.
I gotta see this thing through, Nathan.
Sam, hey, listen to me. If you do this, I'm not coming after you. You hear me?
I'm sorry.
Sam!
What follows is my only issue with this story and the game. As we climb and scale more of these islands following Sam's footstep, this is excess fat that should have been cut in my opinion. This part also shows the glaring issue with this game's climbing and how just unrealistic it felt on our way to the ship. You are just constantly sliding and swinging with your grappling hook like Spider-Man. It's superhuman and takes my immersion out of this grounded experience. We got inside this ginormous ship and it is filled with the treasures from the Gunsway heist, with gold coins, gold bars and golden utensils just everywhere lying on the floor. Just amazing set dressing. We then meet up with Rafe and see Sam stuck below a wooden plank on the brink of death. The confrontation between Nadine and Rafe continues here as she walks away, locking us inside the ship.
Oh, I'm just leaving. Whether you die or not, I don't really care.
Nadine, wait.
So long, Rafe.
Nadine!
We also saw the corpses of Thomas II and Henry Avery, who turned on themselves right here. Hence, the game has mirrorized that with Nate and Rafe with this impressive final showdown between the two. If you've watched my previous videos of this series, I made it very clear that these boss fights do not work for me, but this one does. It is immaculate, cinematic galore, and very narrative heavy with everything on stake. You just realize you are playing through an epic as we beat Rafe at the end.
I earned this. All of it.
You want the treasure, Rafe? It's all yours.
And save Sam getting the hell out of this burning ship. This particular scene where Nate was puzzled between the decision of saving Sam or saving his life was so impactful. I was actually hoping that they would kill off one of the characters. Sam was the likely candidate, but this made sense. And the two brothers escape, and thanks to Elena and Sully, they get off this island. The next scene where they bid farewell to each other again is so powerful, and I think more powerful than killing off any characters. Sam and Sully join forces for an upcoming job, and Nate and Elena go back to living their normal life. In the next scene, we found out that Sam has sneakily left some treasures in Elena's jacket, which allowed them to buy off Jameson's salvage company.
Holy crap. Where did you get this?
It was in my jacket pocket. Along with a bunch more.
A bunch?
Elena is also thinking of launching her old show to get the adventure back in their lives that they so missed. You might think this is the end, but no, there is an epilogue to this brilliant story, where we explore this beautiful beach house with Cassie Drake, Nate and Elena's daughter, and their bulky yet cute dog. We go through Nate's adventure one more time through Cassie's perspective as an older Nate and Elena show up and promise to share everything with their daughter that they have hidden for years. The trio bids farewell to us as they walk towards the boat, and we have ourselves another happy and touching ending. Naughty Dog itself establishes and celebrates what they have done with the final game of Nathan Drake's saga. They reached greatness from small beginning. There we have it, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. This game is an epic. It's a masterpiece, it's a work of art. What they have pulled off here is unbelievable. They have improved on everything from a gameplay standpoint. They have chopped off the out-of-place supernatural elements. Not to mention, they changed the storytelling tonally to make it more serious, similar to The Last of Us. This is a story of hate, deception, obsession, greed, loyalty, power, and above all, love. It is an everyman story told beautifully with amazing characters, unparalleled presentation, unmatched performances, and outstanding visuals. Thank you so much for watching. These videos are very tough to make, so I'd really appreciate if you subscribed and all the other things that you can do to support me. Please check out my 2025 retrospective of the prior games of this series, and I'll be making a similar retrospective on Lost Legacy if this video does well. Thanks again for your time. Rakzplayz, signing off.
What? What do you want?
The riches of paradise.
It's a metaphor.
No. You and your friends did not pay to get into this infernal place in search of a metaphor. I want in.